Hi, it's Musically Disney AMVs here, and I would like to talk to you today about why I made Miss Motunui series, which of course is a parody title of Miss Saigon. Now, I really do love using this channel as a creative outlet, as you may know, and that is no different to why I made Miss Motunui. Now, I started making this series a little while back towards 2022, 2021, I kind of forget. But the reason I believe it was 2022. The reason I did really stems back to really 2020 when COVID-19 hit, and it hit hard. As you can imagine, being Asian American, it did not bode well for me. I would very often go through the drive-thru and have my food chucked at me, and I didn't really realize this was the case until I started noticing people just handing food to them. And one day I was bracing for impact like a football player, and like American football, and it was handed to me, and I was like, whoa, oh, right. Because in my mind, I thought everyone was just afraid of COVID-19. You know, we were all still like, running crazy and terrified and so on and so forth. But then as this very clearly sunk in, it made me realize how much hate for Asian Americans really have come up to the surface. And I say come up to the surface because it's always been here. It has always been here. Asian Americans have been put into concentration camps twice in American history, and they have been segregated very much and called dirty and all that stuff. And we had a lot of learning to do about Asian American history during the pandemic, which I absolutely love for YouTubers doing so and educating and bringing awareness to why this was happening, where this was happening. I don't know if any of you have watched those videos or have forgotten about them, but they're really good, and I really did appreciate that. However, I knew as COVID progressed for the first 2 years, Asian American history was going to, of course, once again be on the back burner versus having more awareness of the Latin American culture and African American culture. And this is very much a reality, because I think it's very sad that really, if you really look at it, I think it really stems from Asian Americans taking the route of this minority groups being grouped together and segregated in a different way, just like the Irish and Italians and Greeks and all that. We kind of went a more different route versus and how we handled it because of how we were presented and where we were in life versus like the Latin American and African American culture. Neither is correct or wrong in how they presented it, because we were all dealt crazy cards, and it's very unfair, and it's a very sad, messed up history, obviously. But because of that, I think because at least in 20th and 21st century especially, we have gotten an agenda on news and politics, and because of that, you know, violence and the craziness of how we even treat these people in our legal court system is insane and terrible, and we really do need to do better. Come on, people. But because of that, it hits an agenda, and of course they're going to be more on the forefront versus Asian Americans. And really fun fact, Asian Americans are second to the most segregated group in the entertainment industry. The very farthest back, the very first most segregated is Native Americans. Yeah, they're around. Anyway, I'm sorry, that was probably in poor taste, but the point is yeah, only very recently have we seen Native American plays coming to Broadway and into the entertainment industry, and that's long overdue. Only like this year in 2023 have we had an Asian American woman get a certain award for the first time in Hollywood history. That's sad. That's very sad. Now, point is, to pedal back, the reason all of this was piling on me, and again, I felt we were being brushed aside, and I was just like, whatever, I'll just start the series. And it started off very slowly, like whatever. I'll do it when I feel the passion, and it's great. That's what I usually do. But then back in, I'll say January 2023, a family member of mine who is an educator had a story of how these Asian American students and these Asian foreign exchange students had come to this educator and shared their stories on how being Asian had kind of put them aside, like, oh yeah, I'm sure you have problems, yeah, okay, and they just were ignored because they can't have these problems. I mean, they're not sick. They're basically, we're kind of almost seen as like white, but we're not. It's a weird double-edged sword. And she, this educator had come to me, a family member educator had come to me and asked, hey, have you experienced any of this? And I just said yes. And quite frankly, she was shocked. She was taken aback. She was not expecting that. And I think the reason is that happened because it was not her fault. It was just a conversation we never had. It's a conversation many people don't have. And it's very easy to forget that when it's not always in the forefront of people's minds, especially with news outlets and agendas and all that. And that's fair. And it doesn't excuse it, but it's understandable. And so all of this is piling on, and I immediately went to my editing software and pumped out so many Miss Saigon videos so that I can just have this done and over with and just make it so I can have this series for me. I know most people don't like this musical and probably just don't enjoy the series nearly as much. I can just put like, oh, another one of those, okay, another Miss Motunui video, while some do love this series and do love the musical. Fair enough, it has its controversies. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I just want to say why I made this, because I was and still feel almost practically ignored, almost helpless sometimes, like Kim does in this world where she can't control people, she can't control this war, she can't control what's happening. All she can do is just try to live day to day, and that's obviously not exactly. Point is that feeling of just having to go through the rapids and really just doing your best, and there's no shame in that. And I think what's sad is Kim's often written off as a weak character when she's very much not. She is a child handling the craziness of war, and granted, again, controversies. Is not very dead on. It's not very fair to the Vietnamese, who are, come on, badass. But point being is, this series is special to me as a creator, for me to have this creative outlet, and I wanted to put this out there. And I guess I'm making this video really just to say, put forth this nugget of wisdom of, you may not know what this person's going through, and sometimes there are points in sections of minority groups where we don't think about it, and it's okay to not think of, it's okay to be caught off guard, but be like, okay, step back. I do not understand what's going on. Let's have a conversation. There's no shame into being caught off guard, but I think in the same time, it is our duty to step up and go, okay, I don't understand this. I want to learn. Let's learn, because I don't want to make mistakes, because I care. I don't want you to. You're valid, and I'm valid in our own histories respectively. But so let's talk. So this is why I made that, and I'm not asking you to just watch the series or everything to just go, oh, I got to, let's show my support. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is as a creative person, and sometimes we feel down about stuff, and sometimes we really don't know what to do about it. And for me, as a creative person, in my way, I wanted to make the series just to kind of heal a wound of feeling dejected, that once again I am, as of being Asian American in America, is just often or not going to be shelved, put aside for stories and agendas that are more to the popular opinion, and it's just my reality. And that doesn't mean my story and others are not valid either. All of us are valid. But again, just an air of wisdom and caution and awareness. So I'm hoping you, for those who do like the series, enjoyed it. And for those who just say, it's not my cup of tea, great. Fantastic. That's all right. I'm not expecting you to like it just because it came from my heart and all that. Like, that's not what I want. Like, if not your cup of tea, I get it. It's a show that's not everyone's cup of tea, let's be honest. So, thank you for listening to my rant, and please have a wonderful day.